Good morning. Good morning. It's Brenda Shoshana Eshin, Brenda Shoshana, back with another little talk on our series, Simple Solutions in a Complex World. Good morning. Good morning. Very beautiful and foggy morning. It's so beautiful to see the fog, to see the morning, to see each other. We can look at the fog as, oh, it's a foggy day. What a disappointment. Or we can see the beauty of the fog coming in, going out, having a life of its own. It's very, very simple, the way we view it. So it is to us. And that's also true of our relationships with others. As we view them, as we see others, that is the way they are to us. And the way we view something has the power to change it, to touch something within and bring out another quality. That's such an important and simple truth. There are people who mock simplicity. Oh, this is so simple. Mock all you want. Enjoy yourself. We need complexity. We need to analyze. We need to strategize, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with analyzing. It's wonderful in its place, or strategizing, very needed at times. But when we view our entire life that way, we get trapped and we don't realize that what we do to others, we're doing to ourselves as we're analyzing, looking for what's wrong, looking for ways to reject half of the world, accept the other half, the other way around. We're doing that to ourselves as well. We're rejecting part of ourselves, accepting the other part. We're creating enormous conflict within and without. It seems a little crazy to say that we have the ability to create conflict in the world, but where is the world? Our world is within us and around us. And this is true for everyone. So we do have, I don't like to use the word power, but I would say we have the gift, the ability to change the way we view something, or to look for something different. And that will inevitably affect what we're looking at. This is very true also in science. There's been a lot of research, very interesting research done on water, plain water. And the research shows that the way we view the water, when we speak loving words to the water, oh, look at that water, it's so beautiful, I'm thirsty, I'm so grateful for the water, words of gratitude, words of appreciation. They've done studies, and that affects actually the actual composition of the water. It affects it. Well, if that's true for water, what about people? We can inspire, we can uplift, we can encourage, or we can, by the way we view them, speak of them, speak to them, have a part in deflating them, discouraging, depressing. So many times in relationships we hear, oh, you always do this, oh, you're nuts, oh, you're this. These are not harmless perceptions. They're not harmless words. They do have an effect. There's no question. No question. That is why one of the great teachings is judge everyone favorably. This promotes peace. Peace between you, peace in you, peace in them, peace in the world. And the word judge here doesn't mean sit like a judge. It means look for something favorable. I've said this in other talks, and sometimes, of course, it's impossible not to repeat these simple truths. Because each time we repeat them, we hear them differently. We are different. Perhaps the spirit of repetition, particularly in Zen practice, is very, very important. We do the same thing over and over, so it becomes deeper and deeper, and so that we can absorb it. It takes time to absorb certain things, because we're so engrossed in another way of being. So first it just trickles in a little bit, then a little more, then something will happen in your life, and boom, you may even act out of that new understanding. You know, I was thinking this morning I'd like to share something related to this, that when I first moved into my other apartment during COVID, um, it was a very tricky time for everybody. And I'm a little older, so I stayed alone a little more because I wanted to be healthy. At that time, it was quite an issue for everyone. But I had to have somebody come up to fix my computer. And unbeknownst to me, they sent a different person than they were supposed to. And the person who came, it was difficulty. Right away, I could see there was something really wrong. It was evening, early evening. They were supposed to come in the afternoon, but they were very skittish and behaving in a very strange way and saying things that made me very frightened. Initially, I got very frightened. Oh my goodness, who is this? I was alone in the apartment with this person. And and they were saying things, and my first reaction was, oh my goodness, I hope they're not crazy. That was my first initial instinctive reaction. And then I saw the way they looked around and the way they looked at me. I said, right away, it kicked in. Why don't you live what you learn? And I immediately stopped that kind of thinking and I looked for something beautiful in this person. And I began to send the person love, and I began to see them as somebody strong, somebody with love, with wisdom, their essential selves. I focused on who they essentially were, not who they were living or demonstrating at the moment, but you can call it the spirit, the Buddha nature, you can call it whatever word you like, but the essential part of all of us, which essentially I believe is filled with goodness and love and 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 understanding. So I spoke, or I looked at that part of the person very, very, very quickly, because it was like a jarring and potentially, I thought, dangerous situation. So it woke me up. It woke me up. It was good to have had that situation. And it was just really, this is a true story. This was shocking to me. So it's good to share it. This man sat down on the chair opposite me, and he really changed. He calmed down. He smiled. Yeah, all that strangeness went away. He said, it's nice to be here, to meet you. And it was a whole different energy, completely different energy. And I kept doing it, and he did his work, and things went very, very well. It was it was so pronounced. I never forgot it, never. And I probably wouldn't have actually lived this teaching, which I've dwelt upon a lot, until I was in a crisis, something that was difficult. But it came to me because I'd repeated it so much outside and within, and suddenly here I was facing the real need to live it. Mm. It's so beautiful when we actually live what we're learning. We don't do it normally because there's a lot of habits. There's a lot of habit to behave in another way. But when you're up against it, I was up against it that time. I knew it. I drew upon it, and it just reinforced my my appreciation of the teaching and my understanding that it's not just words, it's real. We can really draw upon this wisdom and live it and experience not only for ourselves, but for him and others too, because if something had happened, it would have impacted a lot of people. My family, his friend, what many people would have been impacted. Many people are impacted by an event on many levels. And how wonderful when we can make the impact for something that's true and that's something that's uplifting and that's good. So, especially now we're coming to such a holiday time, for all the holidays, all of them, all of them, all the different food. practices and religions having very important days these days, coming to very times of celebration, of giving, of thanksgiving, of recognition of the higher truths. Of when I say higher, what I just mean is the essence, the essential truths of living a beautiful life. And difficult times can be very good because they force you to actually live it and test it. So anyway, I really thank you very, very much for listening today. It's a joy to talk to you, and thank you for your wonderful comments. They mean a lot. They do. I love the interaction with others. And you might think, well, what kind of interaction? You're doing this on Zoom. Well, sooner or later, I might do more than Zoom, maybe stream, but that's not the point. Right now, I feel a lot of interaction with everyone out there, listening, taking time. There's one part of our interaction when we see each other talk, listen, touch. There's another interaction always going on that we may not even be aware of, but it's there. And there are times when we feel it deeply. So thank you for listening. Have a beautiful, meaningful week, and I will see you next week. Okay, take care. Bye bye.